Good evening, one and all, and welcome again to the gateway to your weekend. It is your Celtic Supporters podcast. Big Hoggy, Kev, Paul, and Andy. Welcome along, boys. We will start as we always start, and let's give a wee round the table. How the bloody hell are we, gentlemen? Before I'll get to the sponsors a wee bit. Paul, how the bloody hell are you, son?
So, mate. I've had a bit. I have changed my specs. Well spotted. Well in your right, fan. I've been trying to find these specs for fucking months, and as usual, the wife finds them. I can't find fuck all. So they've been found. So yes, good spot. No bad, Hoggy. I obviously had a bit of a mixed bag this week. If you're looking for my whole week, I had a great Tuesday night. I was through in Edinburgh, seeing one of my favourite bands, Shark. If any music aficionados are on, that's where I was meant to be meeting Paul John and sorting thing on behalf of Andy. So that didn't happen because something a wee family thing with him and his brother. So I just ended up flying solo to that gig. A great night on Tuesday, one of my favourite bands. And obviously up to Dundee on Wednesday. We'll get into the game and that. But I had the pleasure of meeting Alistair, Jack, before the game. So popped in to say hello to Alistair. That was lovely. And met an old friend of mine for many years, Wally Ray. I don't know if you probably know Wally, Andy. You might know Wally for your days in the East End of Glasgow. He's actually good friends with Paddy that used to be on here.
All right.
Him and Paddy's family were good friends. Good Republican, good Celtic man. It's one of the things. It's one of the beautiful things about watching Celtic, because we met in the jungle as 16-year-old laddies many years ago, obviously, and we've remained pals ever since. Wally being the sort of boy he is, there's been periods of Wally's life that he's not been able to go anywhere, never mind watch Celtic, if you know what I mean. He's been otherwise engaged at Their Majesty's pleasure, but he's a very dear friend of mine, and it was lovely to catch up with Wally. Got a couple of tickets off him for a couple of the boys, and so it was all good. Everything was hunky dory, and then as we'll get to the game, so that's been my week.
We'll leave the game to the point of where we can all just really let go, because I think tonight's going to be one of these special ones as well, where I've not had my say in the last, because I wasn't here on Friday or Monday.
Yeah.
I've not had my updated say, which is coming. It is coming as well. But Kevin, my man, how the hell are you? Good week?
I'm good. I've had a good week, mate. I've had a good week, and I'm looking forward to tonight. I've not been on the last couple of pods, so looking forward to getting on tonight and airing my views, so to speak. But for me, life's good. Can't complain. I had a nice wee 4 days in Euro Disney with the wee boy and the missus last weekend, Thursday to Monday, so that was good. Great time. Wee boy had a blast. He's only 2.5. Just magical seeing him thrive in it and how much he enjoyed himself. And then him on Monday, and one of the dogs was not well over the weekend, so to take the dog and put one of the dogs to sleep Monday night. But she was 13-year-old, she had a good innings. It was my uncle's retired guide dog, and she lived with us for nearly 5 years when she retired early in her home. So she's had a good life with my other two and running up and down to the caravan and that, but it was time to let her go, save the old soul suffering. So I've still got these other two just lying under my feet now, and that head case running a bit through there that you can probably hear screaming. So life's good, mate. Can't grumble.
Any other member of the CSP that's got a dog, then, watch you, that's 3.
I'm laughing as well. I can just about laugh now, but you're right.
I know.
Kevin, my thoughts, Kev, mate. You have your thoughts, son.
I'm all good, mate. I'm good. Thanks, boys.
And last but not least, Andy boy, how the hell are you, son? You've had a bit of a week this week, haven't you?
Just I don't even want to get into it. It's just one of the weeks you want to forget. I couldn't get home quick enough, and I suppose the good thing is I kind of finished a wee bit later, so it's less to wait to get back on with you guys. So that's quite a good thing. So just looking forward to getting into it, and there's plenty to talk about, isn't there?
There is multitudes to go through and talk about, mate, as well, and we will get stuck right into a good few things. We've got obviously we bit of a recap of Dundee United, and we'll go over our thoughts on that. There's some Celtic fans collective stuff I want to have a wee chat about tonight as well, and some planned stuff for Sunday. We've obviously got Sunday's game, we've got boardroom shenanigans, we've got all sorts of stuff as well, which we will get to as well. But as always, we can't do this stuff alone as well. So 2 big thank yous need to go to, first of all, our Dennis. You can see him commenting on the comments there as well at Pro Sport Media Group. Guys, please go to all your socials and find Pro Sport Media. Follow Dennis for some of the best coverage in Scottish media for the football. And secondly, obviously, our clothing sponsor as well is Adelantes. Des and the guys at Adelantes are still giving you the option and opportunity to get £5 off any order at Adelantes.com. Go there, Adelantes.com, use discount code CSP5 for your £5 off. And in the season where it is Christmas, and with the Not Another Penny campaign, as I say, it's a fantastic wee opportunity to get some Celtic related as well. That's not going to line the pockets of Celtic Football Club if you are following that protest itself. So thank you very much to our sponsors, and thank you very much to everybody who comes, who subscribed, who comments as well. You are all part of that community. Just before I move on, we obviously you know that we had to start afresh, and we're building back up as well. So thank you everybody as well who is here and who is coming to watch us all the time. That's 158 the new. We'll probably be up to close to 200. If you can, please like, share, subscribe. And good news is we obviously lost a few members, and the members was those who had actually paid for a membership to the CSP. We've now got to a stage as well where I think after tonight we're probably going to reach the stage where we can open the memberships back up again. Now, between myself and the boys, so Paul, Andy, Kevin, Barry, Nicky, and Big Pakey and stuff, we'll have a wee conversation as well about what's going to be an offer there, because I'm not saying there wasn't a lot before as well, but there will be some stuff that you get as part of your membership. It's not just going to be a wee sticker. There will be some giveaways. There will be some stuff we're going to do, but me and the boys will have a chat about what that package looks like, and it gives people the opportunity to obviously try and get some back for that. I'm going to push for either a monthly or quarterly donation to a charity, and that charity will be chosen by our membership community as well. We'll basically put that out there. There's loads of stuff I need to go through. Last but not least on that as well, we still have a wee bit of money that we've said that we're going to be given to a specific charity in the run up to Christmas. So we'll do that at the start of Christmas week. But we're going to put a wee poll out tonight of anybody that knows of any community organisation, local charity, local person, or anything that think might be a good beneficiary of £100 donation, then let us know, and we'll put it in there. And what we'll do is we'll gather as many as we can. We'll put a wee poll out basically, and then the viewers will choose on that as well. So there we are. Have I covered all of that, gentlemen? Have we got all that stuff out?
Aye. Just one thing there. I seen Vincey was at the same gig as me. I'm sorry, I missed you, Vincey. He's obviously a man of impeccable musical taste as well. But aye, it was a great night, mate. I thought the band were on top form, as good as I've seen them. But next time, mate, we'll catch up the next time. Just seen it in the comments.
To me, honestly, I seen the first two comments of the night was talking about Moan the Tick Mick. Obviously, from everybody at the CSP, we pass our condolences on to Moan the Tick Mick. I'm not really sure myself. I'm no knowledgeable of who the fella is as well. But if that is the case as well, then obviously everybody here passes their condolences on to Mick. Where there is one that exits, there is one that comes into our life as well. And the CSP is very, very proud that one of our members, or one of the members of the CSP, background member, Big Pakey, my wee big cousin, or my big wee cousin, just welcomed in a wee boy into the world in the last few days as well. Christopher Kevin McPake, very, very proud big cousin here as well, Pakey, mate. So anybody that knows me or knows Pakey knows the special meaning that name has as well. So Christopher Kevin McPake, God bless you, young man. God bless you as well. And I'll come down and see you shortly, brother. Pakey, pass our love on to your good missus as well, mate. So all the pleasure over and done with as well. Andy, I'm coming to you first for this one, brother. Okay. Wednesday night, right? Mm-hmm. So Wednesday night, obviously, the debacle that was fucking Tannadice. Where do we start? I don't want to kind of get your overall thoughts on the game. That will come in a wee bit. I want to just pin you on the team selection, right? So going into that game as well, which again, a lot of people were getting nervous because, 3 games have been beat as well. And you're thinking it should be shooting in. We should be turning up there as well and telling him no bother. But you're thinking you're nervous about seeing that team sheet, first of all. When you've seen that team sheet on Wednesday night, and let me just say, Schmeichel, Ralston, Trusty and Tierney is your back 3. McGregor, Bernardo, McCowan and Yang, Hatate, Kenny, Maida. did you look at that and was there anything in there as well that made you think, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go again? Or were you confident with that team getting into the game?
I'm not confident with any team getting into any game now, Hoggy. And people are going on about, do you think we can still win the league? And I'm like, we can't even win a game. We can't win a game. How are we going to win a league? I think what it really shows, and what the board have done with employing this guy, certainly in the way the first 4 games have went, is it showed that their incompetence more than anything. The fact that they haven't brought enough quality into the team to progresses in any way. In fact, we've regressed as a team so much that if you want to talk about Europe, we're years behind where we should be now, rather than taking that next step forward. We are years behind because it's going to take so long to get back into a position we were in before when it comes to quality in the team. And you're looking at that Dundee United. I was kind of getting into that game. I'm thinking, right, okay, we've lost 3 in a row, and within the 3 games, you could see wee bits of something. And you think eventually it's going to click and you're going to get that. And I think all it would take would be a win to just get the players' confidence, because it seems to be the confidence has just been totally ripped right out their soul. But it just didn't happen. You go, get into that game, it's pretty obvious. All you need to do is look at the front line. Look who's up front. You've got Johnny Kenny, who, I'm sorry, and I know he's had wee bits here and there. He's simply not good enough. And the guy on the bench who's going to come in as a backup striker, Shinya Yamada, he's been out the picture for so long. You expect him to come in and be the saviour in a game. It's just, it's worrying. It really is worrying. Because I think we're like, see, do you know what it puts me in mind of? See that film Castaway with Tom Hanks, and he jumps on the raft and he just goes for it and hopes that he's going to land somewhere. That's Celtic for us right now. And I'm showing the big Tom Hanks beard recently as well. And incidentally, while I'm talking about me, this is on homage to Home Alone, where he gets his seed burnt. It's that time of year, so that's why I've got this hat on. I don't even know what I'm talking about, Hoggy, because I can't remember what you actually asked. See, what you want to do is don't start with me, because I take his off and down different avenues and runabouts and back again. And
that's what the CSP is all about, mate. That's all we do is runabouts and come back to points as well. But we make a really fucking good show about doing that stuff. But the thing for me with that, and Kevin, I'm going to come to you for this one, right, was the very interesting thing for me, and Barry was all over the fucking top of this. You're playing a back 3 and you're playing Trusty in the middle, and you've got 2 fullbacks either end. Yeah. We're sitting 3 centre-halves on the bench. Now, the question I've got for you then, is that going to be systematic, you think, of what Nancy's thinking is with that back 3, 7, 1 central defender and 2 more mobile centre-halves on about him? Or has he made a cunt of that as well, and should he have played more recognised centre-halves in the positions? Because when Scales came on, I seen Scales was floating about sometimes at the left wing back thing. You know? So, what do you think, Kev?
He either doesn't have a clue what he's doing, or what's his best 3 to play at the back, or he's just panicked and switched it up because of the cup final. But my answer is, I honestly don't know. Don't know. I think he's just thought, after 3 games in the cup final, I need to do something different, and I think he's just thought, right, I need to try a change of personnel and see if it works. But to be perfectly honest with you, the long and short of it is see if you've got a Kyogo or a Andy Walker or a Frank McAvenny up there in that first half. You're 5-0 up at half time, and Dundee United's not even having a go at you in the second half. They're going 1-5-5 damage limitation. Know what I mean? But see when you're and I'm going to single 2 guys out, and I don't need to blame them for the full thing, but I'm using them as examples, right? But see if you're buying what McCown's for Dundee, you're buying bottom 6 relegation cannon fodder level players, and if you're buying Johnny Kenny's for the League of Ireland, then that's the standard you're getting with these guys. End of.
So, and here's one. We'll stay on that one, because what gets my goat sometimes, or grinds my gears, if you want to go a Family Guy about it, is that flip-floppiness of and listen, I'm the same as well. I'm not by any means kind of saying that I'm not this, but the flip-floppiness of football supporters, I suppose. Whereas at some points, Luke McCowan was looked upon as a really good opportunity for Celtic, a really good option for Celtic. He's come on and done well for Celtic. He's come on and scored winners for Celtic. He's come on and changed games for Celtic. And now with the run of the team that's going as well. And again, this isn't me saying anything to you, Kevin, as such as well, but just in general, it's very, very easy for folk then just to flip it around and say, fucking bottom six players as well, no welcome at Celtic. Johnny Kenny as well, absolute shite, League of Ireland player as well. But when these guys are scoring 2 and 3 goals, they're like, this guy actually might be onto something here. The flip-floppiness, Paul, as well. So I'm going to come to you for that one. Do you agree with Kevin that the level of the Celtic squad is at that standard, or is it just systematic of the belief, of the morale, of the culture at Celtic that they're just playing like bottom six fodder?
I think there's a bit of both, the truth in both of the arguments, Hoggy. But I do agree with Kev. I mean, it's not like McCowan and Kenny haven't had plenty of opportunity to do something. I mean, Johnny Kenny, there's sliding doors moments in football, and he's had many. And I mean, I'm up the other end on Wednesday, and the one he misses, it looked fair. I was literally standing up the very back of the shed because you couldn't get near. I meant to be in row A, but at the time we got in, you couldn't get near it, so we just stood up the back, and it looked easier to miss than score. The one he's missed, I think he's went with his wrong foot. And that's these are the moments that make or break your career in any football team, particularly a Celtic team that needs to win football matches. Look, McCowan, I mean, I've never been completely convinced he's one of the lads. I really, really wanted to do well when he's came in, and they've no lifted the squad at all, have they? Let's be honest, they've dragged it down when they've played most of the time. They're not going to be your saviours. They're not going to be the players that take you to the level or even keep you at the level that we should be at. So, and I do think that what they're affected as well by the malaise that has been poured right all over the club by these scumbags that were sitting in the director's box getting it up. So that was the highlight of the night for me, how close they were to the supporters and getting it fucking stinking the whole game. But there's still a small minority, apparently, according to everybody. It's still a small minority. It certainly wasn't a small minority on Wednesday night. So no, that the answer to the question is, Hoggy, I don't think the boys are good enough. Luke McCowan might be good enough to come off the bench as he has done on occasion, but he's not going to be a player. And we need to be ruthless now. He's not going to be a player that's going to win you football matches or dominate football games. And Johnny Kenny just clearly isn't a natural goal scorer, laddie, because he's missing too many chances. And correct me if I'm wrong, because as I say, I've not watched it back. And for that end of the ground, one in particular looked easier to score than to miss. You know the one I'm talking about when he got fizzed close for the left, and he's came in on it. Was it as bad a miss as it looked at the game?
It was worse.
Aye, was it, Kev? Aye, so there you go, Kev. That's what I mean about.
He even led with the wrong foot for it. All he had to do was open his foot and guide it towards goal when it's going in.
So there you go. There's that lack of quality, and it's no harm on the lad here. He runs about. I thought he got bullied on Wednesday night. I thought he really got bullied off their defenders, and that's systematic. Maybe the system we're playing. And I totally agree with the two fullbacks. I thought McJust had a good game on Wednesday, because he was firefighting all over the place, certainly in the first half. He was firefighting all over the place. But when you've got a right back that's we know that the lack of quality that he possesses, and again, it's not criticism of the lad, it's just a fact. And you've got KT playing. You're any time, like in the games we've seen previously, even when we were on top as we were in the first half, we still looked, and I said that again before, it was a great gig, by the way. Aye, so it was a great gig, Manel. And I had 2 spare tickets, actually, because the boys couldn't go. But anyway, back off that. Even when we're on top, and as we were for most of the first half, and I think everybody agreed that we were playing well, and we played some really good football, still look fragile. Still look this fragile, lack of confidence. When a team gets the ball and starts moving it up the park quickly, then the team look like we can be got at no bother. And that's half a team that hadn't won in 7 games. Dundee United didn't win in 7 games, so their confidence must have been lower, if not as low as ours. And can I just come on to a comment for Shuckster 67 there? I actually agree with that, mate. Some Celtic fans should take a look at themselves. I thought, and listen, I'm as radical as they come, but I was pretty. I'm going to use the word disgusted. If folk can disagree with me on the want, I thought that was pretty fucking poor on Wednesday. The criticism directed solely at that. I mean, obviously, it was the board got it right, stinking and rightfully so. But I thought the Nancy get to fuck stuff was really, really poor.
Disgusting.
I saw it was, Kev, and also the singing Martin O'Neill's name. It was really. It was honestly, Kev. You listen, boys. We'll all have been at a lot of toxic games over the years. That was up there for me. The toxicity in that stadium in the second half was pretty fucking grim. Understandable, but pretty grim. But I'm glad most people are agreeing with me, because listen, I understand the anger. I totally get the frustration, but I couldn't help but feeling really fucking sorry for that big laddie standing on the sidelines on Wednesday night. I mean, if you've been in we were in the shed, but if you've been in the Jerry Kerr stand on the Fair Play, it must be a lonely place for a manager who's getting it stinking, because the fans are on top of you, and you've got that walk down to get into the tunnel. And I felt for the big man, I really did. And I know, listen, results are everything, and I totally understand the frustration, I really do. But I was pretty disgusted and embarrassed by the songs that the fans were singing. And it was also, there was one in the first half where it was actually, I don't know how they've got all polite with the Nicholson get to fuck would work for me, but they've turned it into Michael get to fuck. And there was a period in the first half when when Schmeichel thought it was about him, because it soon, if you think about it, Michael get to fuck, all he's hearing is the last fucking few syllables of that, and you can see him
get to fucking all.
Maybe I think so as well, but he genuinely thought it was about him. And I think somebody put to tell him that it wasn't about him. But I don't know how we've turned Nicholson into Michael. He's getting his first name. But listen,
I was actually shouting Schmeichel get to fuck, and I was in Wales at the time. So
the thing is, Andy, right? The thing is, he was bringing a lot on himself, because see, when you're under pressure and you're starting to make the mistakes that we're all panicking about because we know where they've led to, he's fucking dilly-dallying on the ball. And obviously that's coming from the manager, so it takes you back to sympathy can only be handed out in short supply. But I mean, he's bringing pressure on yourself, passing it to Ralston, who couldn't control fucking a half decent ball, never mind a ball fizzed at him. And
a bag of cement.
We brought a lot of that on ourselves, and obviously then I'm not going to go right through the game second half as we probably predicted. We did at half time anyway. They came out, they went man for man, they got more aggressive, and the really worrying thing is we just crumbled in front of the game.
What's your thoughts on it, Hoggy?
I think Paul's right. What I don't want to do is basically go through kind of cent by cent as well for Wednesday night as well. But my thoughts on it, there's many thoughts I've got. I think Paul had it nailed it right in the head there as well. When anybody goes toe-to-toe with us as well, they seem to have lost that inner belief as well to stand up and just win the fucking fight, first of all. You don't win a war, you win the battles, first of all, before you win a war as well. And I think with them basically facing up with us the second half, getting in our faces as well, I don't know what it is with that team now. And they just don't seem as if they're up for the fight. They don't seem as if they're up for that battle. And that's the worrying thing, that we've seen things in the first half as well, which looking at it, you're thinking, pretty nifty fit by some of the stuff they're playing, by the way. Pretty nifty fit by. The opportunities that we created as well, fucking multitude of opportunities that we didn't put away. And there's many people saying, I think Shugster's there as well. If we had a top striker, we'd have put them fucking teams out of sight. Absolutely. Yeah. We wouldn't be having this conversation. But we didn't. And we're giving people the opportunity to then change their games and come against us in that way. For me, the worrying thing more, probably, or maybe not as much to say more, probably as much new as that formation, which just we've no got the capacity within the squad to play that formation, both in personnel, both in positional awareness, football intelligence, fitness, overall time on the park as well. I just don't think we've got that time or we've got that ability to play that system. But we've got a manager there as well that doesn't see the importance of just coaching his way through a game. And again, Barry, on the comments, you heard them the other night as well. We all we had to basically do was coach your way. You had to coach his way through that second half and wasn't able to do it. The other thing for me, Andy, on this is that I'm one of the ones as well, or was one of the ones that was like very much, I like the cut of this guy's jib from what I'd heard before he walked in the door. Now, if you think of the past managers that we have been very, very fortunate to have in place, Brendan Rodgers, you had obviously Martin O'Neill was kind of interim there as well, and Ange Postecoglou before that. You had managers in there as well that when they spoke, you actually sat up and listened to them. When they said stuff as well, you were hanging off what they were saying. They were leaders of men. This guy comes in and says, I'm not a manager, I'm a leader, and not said one single fucking word or one single phrase or one single thing that I'm sitting there like that. Fucking yes, Wilfred, let's go. I can't, I've no bought into him. And that's the thing, I think, why people are as easily jumping on the bandwagon, because he's not gave anybody any reason to love him yet.
See the thing that people are saying that the players don't believe in him. I don't quite get that. I think a lot of this is down to the players as well, that their attitude, because we've seen in the first half, if they didn't believe in the way he wanted to play football, we wouldn't have created so many chances. And if we just spoke about it there, that it's a lack of finishing. Now you look at Maeda's goal, and they took it absolutely superbly. It was a cracking finish, and you go, but other chances we had in that game, and I know he clattered the post, but other chances we had in the game were a lot easier to score than the one he did. I know it wasn't him in a lot of these kind of chances, it was Kenny and that, but you just think, and I know Baz is going to be creaming his pants now, but you talk about Kyogo, and if he was on the park, and quite a lot of these games, he would have stuck the ball in the back of the net, and I think it's quite clear we are lacking serious quality on the top end of the pitch. Yeah. The defence is very questionable. In fact, you could question the whole squad at this point. And going by people's reactions to Wednesday night, you could have scrapped the whole team and people would have been applauding, replace the whole team. But I think it's really evident, in my personal opinion, we look as if every team we play against is going to score against us, and we are struggling to score goals. There is a basic problem. And between that, you're getting the nice patterns of play. And I think the players are buying into it. Otherwise, you wouldn't see anything at all if they weren't there.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Kevin, our Dennis has put on a couple of things as well. So again, guys, Pro Sport Media Group as well. Find them on your socials as well. Again, great insight to Scottish football, Celtic, and football further afield. Our Dennis is basically saying that he got glimpses of the minutes of the meeting that Wilfred Nancy has had with the Celtic board. Some of that, Callum McGregor believes he should be given time and that things in the training ground are good. But there's a second one there as well, that Nancy's told the board that he's got ideas and that style of play would take time. He also reassured the board that the players were 100% behind him. Now, again, that for me is no for a manager to say. I could go in and say, CSP are 100% behind me, but they fucking fact, the 5 or 6 of them could be talking and say, that fact, that get him to fuck, man, he's an arsehole. So it's no for me to come out and say they're all behind me. It's the actions of the people that are behind you that will tell you whether they're behind you or not. And I just think as well that is no evident for me. Now, a manager coming into somewhere like Celtic, Kevin, to come in and to go 4 games without a fucking point or without any sort of kind of semblance of positivity to take from places, that's other clubs might give you time for it as well. But do you think that, and this is a fucking stupid question as well about the Celtic board, but do you think the Celtic board actually will give him the time if he's saying it's got to take time to embed this style of play? But how long can Celtic afford to go without winning games before this then becomes absolute critical point? Because there's a vast majority of the fans that's probably at critical point now for it. When does it get critical for the Celtic board? Because, and I'm ranty, I know I'm ranty as well, but let me do it. If the whole point of them, that we spoke about the football side of the thing and the business side of the thing, that it's flipped and it's arse now, that the football side is feeding the business, it's feeding the profits rather than the profits feeding the fucking side. Now, if they're talking about profits, they're in danger of fucking losing this league, which then loses Champions League qualification, which loses a shitload of fans, which loses all your merchandise. There's going to be millions on the fucking deck here for Celtic if they don't make the decision soon. But do you honestly think, do you honestly think Celtic are close to parting ways with this laddie?
Defeating Sunday, he'll be away before we get up Monday morning. That's what I firmly believe. He will go if we get beat on Sunday. He will be away before we go to bed on Sunday night. I think that is an absolute stonewall certainty. So it is. And if we do get beat on Sunday and he's still there on Monday, then the full thing is going to explode to an obscene level. So it is. But then again, see, we're fucking bastard board. You wouldn't put nothing past them that he could lose the next 2 or 3 games and still be there. But I've got a wee feeling now that I've just got a feeling now that if it doesn't work out with a victory on Sunday, that the guy might just go to sell. He might just think I've bit off more than I can chew. But see, the French, they're arrogant fuckers and all.
They are, but again, there's a
generalisation, boys.
There's a few £1 million that's sitting resting on that decision as well, Kev. I don't think he's going to walk away for that as well, to be fair. But
what I mean is that he'll go in and he'll sit down with them to see that he can try and work something out with them to go.
See, the thing is, Kev, if they need to relieve him of his duties, then Nicholson has got to go for a start. So he knows that what was weird to me was he came out and he was interviewed about Lawwell. Why the manager came into it, I don't know. It was to do with Lawwell, but he found it appropriate to back a manager right before a game that was going to be critical, especially for a decision-making process when it comes to keeping your manager or not keeping your manager. Now we're getting into Sunday, and I agree with you, Kev. I was baffled when we went for Nancy, but now that you see it, I'm thinking, give a guy a chance. Really, it's Celtic, get it, and you simply don't get that amount of time to really get it right. You need to hit the ground running because this is what happens. This is what happens.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Now, I just got to point to Paul. We'll come to you for this one, mate. So again, another thing that Dennis is saying that the board wants to know who's identified as possible transfer targets, and they want to know who believes is not going to be in his future plans. Now, from that type of kind of questioning as well, then I'm not saying the board obviously no done a great job up until now as well, but is that what you would expect the board to be doing now? Then is actually not just going and saying actually we 100% back this guy. That's the public facing stuff. But this is the stuff you'd be expecting your board to actually be in there, right? If you're going to get this right, who are you going to bring in? What are you going to do? Who's no part of the plans? Who you need to get punted? Is that actually the board actually being quite efficient in their
it seems it would appear to be a change of direction, wouldn't it? That they're actually, because what we've heard before, it's loads of input for the board and who we can buy and who we can't buy. So that would seem to be a change of direction. But no, let's not have no confidence. And this isn't strangely enough blamed at blamed at Nancy because he's in, it seems he's walked into the wrong film, he's walked into the wrong movie at the wrong time, and with the people there needs to be you could get rid of Nancy tomorrow and your problems are not anywhere near resolved. You could keep Nancy and punt Tisdale and all the board members who I thought, even considering the stick they were getting on Wednesday, I thought that Chris fucking, what's his name? The one who was taking the photos of the fans.
Mackay. He'd be the first cunt out the door, by the way, before Nicholson. 100%.
I thought his behaviour on fucking Wednesday was intolerable. I mean,
and that's not the first instance, mind it, that they were sharing the picture on the phone, he's sitting laughing. At least they're a wee bit more, reserve when it comes to things like that. He doesn't give a fuck, that guy.
That Tony Hamilton slithering about there, I can't stand that bastard. You'll not be surprised to hear any of that. But the thing is, I mean, this is why there's so much anger, because this is everything we've predicted for 3-4 seasons, and it's all come, and probably longer, and it's all come to fruition in a big bang. So we're now in a position where changing the manager isn't going to have the impact that it should have. I hope you just keep an eye. I'm not mentioning any comments. I'll get to them the time of day.
It's all right. He's got it.
So much I could say, but I'm not going to. But aye, there's so much that we've got ourselves into this situation, and getting rid of the manager doesn't resolve that. There needs to be a root and branch approach to this. And Tisdale, who rumour has it was the person who was maybe assaulted outside the ground on whenever that was.
Sunday.
I'll say no more than that, because again my feelings might offend people, but you're in charge. You've been put into a job where you're an arrogant bastard, obviously, as well suspected it might be, and he has had an absolute nightmare. And if he's been involved in this appointment of a manager, knowing full well, this is the thing. This is where I feel sorry for the manager to an extent. Because the people that have scouted him obviously know, you would think, that the style of football he plays and the personnel he needs. And then is there any guidance then as to, right, listen, I know you like to play a 3-5-2, we know that, but at the minute we're going to have to sort of bed that in gradually, because if you go right in with that, you've not got the players, which is clearly the case. So there's no leadership, Hoggy. There's no leadership for it coming from anywhere. And as I say, that comes from the top to the very bottom. So I would love to sit here and say, right, get rid of William, get rid of Nancy, and replace him with the man for Bruges, for example, who I think would have been a far better appointment in the first place. But who just lost his job. But then you're still left with Tisdale. You're still left with the people above him. So there's a root and branch approach to this, that whether or not that happens, and you would have to say the evidence would suggest that it won't happen, then I can't have any confidence in anything at the minute, to be honest with you. And your Jambo boy that keeps popping in, he's fine. He keeps popping in with comments that we're going to win the league and I'll see you in Edinburgh in May, and bloody, that might not be a good idea if you beat us to the league, but
Harps fan will say as well, there's a couple of comments as well that's been deleted there because the community is not exactly by what you're saying as well.
I just want to say, can I say something, Hoggy? That one that you blocked, I'll say his name, Willie Pearson. He's that bright. By the looks of it, he's put the first part of his postcode in his username, which is a very silly thing to do. Because I've just pinpointed exactly where you are within about a half-mile radius. What an idiot.
We are by no means violent in nature.
No, but you know, you're online, you need to make sure you're secure.
Again, speak for yourselves. Yeah, and to your end, boy, I've got a great record shoe there, mate, on and off the park, so I would mind that as well.
Dennis has been giving Dennis has been giving us some good stuff there as well, and I think that one of the comments he'd mentioned is, actually I'll go to this one first as well. So this is, I think, what Nancy's saying. I understand the fans' disappointment, but playing good football at times. He continues, it's something that takes time and everyone needs to be part of it as well, right? Okay, mate. That can be something that a lot of people will bite down on a wee bit. But one of the comments, I'm just trying to find it now, but he's basically saying there that there is the kind of feeling for the board, basically saying that he's one more defeat is not going to be acceptable. So he's got until January basically to turn it around, and then one more defeat is not
next
acceptable.
week.
The thing is, we've got 3 games before the window opens, so you know we can't do anything. And that's sure I know Celtic actually doing their business properly and getting somebody in straight away. You know,
see the thing is, we've got 3 games until we play them, mate. That's the thing that a lot of people, and certainly I'm sitting here. I was talking to a guy in the work the day about it, and it was like
a couple of tricky ones, Hoggy.
Sorry,
a couple of tricky ones there. Away to Livingston and away to Motherwell.
Away to Livingston, away to Motherwell as well, which is no. And Motherwell playing good football. You know, Motherwell playing well. Livingston again, it's not a great place to go and play your foot, but anyway, it starts at home on Sunday, obviously, but we've got that one. But it's stuff, and I don't want to get into too much with the board as well, because there is a wee kind of segment I want to kind of jump into to the board. But as it is easy as just saying the solution here is just to empty him, or is there another way that we're not quite seeing, we're not seeing the fucking clearing for the trees kind of thing as well? Is there a way that this man can actually stay and keep his job at Celtic if happen.
He's got to win games. That is the only way. If he continues to get defeated, sorry for jumping in, by the way, I've just kind of just.
All right, I'm doing all right.
I mean, I'll go for. I think the only way he keeps his job is by winning games. Whether that's through the system he works, or he manages to somehow get goals at the team and stop shipping goals, I don't know. But the thing is, if it does go tits up, and they need to get rid of him, heads will roll at the board level. That it's got to. It's got. You can't. They can't put all the eggs in the one basket with this guy. Did due diligence when it comes to his playing style and all that, and absolutely back him to come in as a Celtic manager. Then days before the 4th defeat in a row, come out and publicly back him, talking about signings in January and all that. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you're hearing, albeit false news coming out that he's negotiating a severance package with the board. So,
but here's another one as well. You know how I like to kind of poke and prod at this one. I'm going to get in the 3 years and I'm going to ask you this one, right? So you're right. The board have done their due diligence, or Tisdale's done his due diligence as well. And remember this one. Our appointments previously have been like a Dermot Desmond appointment. That's who's brought managers and nurtured managers in. That's who it's been. It seems as if the Dermot Desmond has taken a back seat and let the football department identify this one. So there's due diligence been done successfully or unsuccessfully, right? So let's say there's two scenarios here. That I just want a very, very quick, so don't go way miles with what you're going to answer here. Is it possible for Wilfred Nancy to come back from the fans singing Nancy, get to fuck on Wednesday? If he starts winning games, is that all forgiven? Is it as easy as that, Andy? Is it an all forgiven thing? Again, don't go too much with it as well, but
exactly what I said. That's the only reason he keeps his job is by winning. If he continues to lose games, he will lose his job, and people at both levels got to go as well. It will be absolutely demanded that that's the case. And I pretty much think that if Dermot's got as big a control over this club as he has, he will not mess about when it comes to that. If he's embarrassed in any way, he's done it in the past, then he'll do something about it. And I think you will see his choice of manager coming in if that's the case, that he does get emptied. But just talking about the fans, all the fans want is the team to win. They can totally get behind philosophies if you're in a position to do so. But if you've not got the players to work that system and you continually get defeated, then you are losing the will and the patience of the fans. And we all know that once it gets to a certain point, it's very hard to come back for that. But what we also know is, if you do get it right at Celtic, you are an absolute hero. Yep. An absolute hero, and the fans will be 100% behind you.
Absolutely.
But you've got to win, especially in the position we were in, behind Hearts in the league. All right, we get defeated against them and when we had the opportunity to go ahead. But we're still technically that far behind. So the next game is so very important, and we could continue to talk about the same thing, saying that the next game is going to be more important than the next game after another defeat. He's simply got to win. He's got that. Aberdeen is a must-win game. I absolutely agree with Kev. If he doesn't win that, he's gone. Absolutely.
So, Kevin, I'm coming to you for the next one. Right, again, Dennis is saying there the board will review again in January. When in January though? But not accept another loss. So, what Andy's mentioning there is, if the Celtic board or whoever it is do make the decision to terminate the new manager's contract early, is that then, as Andy's saying, is that then basically them having to then go on their own sword and leave? Or, on the flip of that, is that our board being proficient in doing what they're doing to uphold the standards of what should be at Celtic Football Club by catching this early?
That ship sailed a long time ago, Hoggy. Sorry to jump in.
Mate, I like to poke and prod and throw things in there to go that rabbit. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm not saying I believe that, Kev, but take the first one then, and feel free to answer the question that I'd said to Andy as well about is Nancy's position get backable from the song. But as if they sack Nancy, do the board need to follow him at the door?
100%. he took the gamble in the first place in bringing him in, so they need to then fall by the sword as well as him at the same time as well. If he can win, Dennis is saying that they're looking at a review in January. If he can win these 3 games between now and the end of the year, then the review will be, right, he's getting somewhere now, so that's it. He's staying. Anything but maximum points. And he's, in fact, I don't even think there'll be a review in January. As I said earlier, if he get beaten Sunday, he's toast. He's toast. But they must follow him out the door. They must follow him out the door because it's their total clusterfuck. But see, something that's, I know we touched on that a wee bit earlier when I brought it up about just as what McCown and that as an example, by the way. There's still some serial winners in there. Trusty's been there a while. Scales has been there a while, and they've played a lot of games. McGregor's been there a while, a long time, played a lot of games. Hitati's been there. There's serial winners there in that team as well. But they're not performing.
Yeah.
And topped up with the fact that, see, when some of these guys aren't performing, usually, if you go back, say, 2 years, you could look at your start 11 and say, see if 2 or 3 of them don't perform, we'll be all right, because we've got a team full of winners here. And you know something, by the way, there's 2 or 3 guys here that you think on that bench that I could bring them on. See now, you're looking at 3 or 4 there that you would say, and the rest you're saying, that's all your squad players. So see when things aren't working out, and I know I'm going off a wee bit.
Yeah, but I want you to bring it back. I want you to bring it back as you can, mate.
But it's just, you can change your manager tomorrow, but there's far too much dross here. Far too much dross here.
And the reason I'm going to say bring it back, because again, I've got that, we're moving on to a bit of that. But Paul, I'd asked the question there of Kevin, and your reaction was very, very telling. So I'm going to put that question to you. Would it be seen as somebody looking in from the outside that the Celtic board, if they did do that, and if, as Dennis is saying, for all the stuff that they're asking and saying it's not going to be acceptable, all these things are put in place, if they did make the decision to end it early for the guys, well, is that good governance?
No, because everything that's gone on at the club now, for the manager to the toxicity of the park, to the poor squad, is all to do with the board. The board are 100% today to blame, in my opinion. I know some people will disagree on that, but they've had their hand in everything. I've heard this narrative getting trotted out the last few days about that fucking shitebag bastard Lawwell apparently getting threatened out of a job, which I don't believe for a second, first and foremost. And about how he's done such a great job in the last 20 years. Fuck off. I mean, he's been handed a free fucking run at this for the last 20 years, where that mob been fucking out of existence, then back in as a new club, and all the stuff we spoke about before. So I'm not having that first and foremost. His legacy should be one of fucking, the vast majority should be his legacy should be shame, and that's what it will be, certainly in my eyes. No, so no, the board, no, absolutely no, Hoggy, because they've not made the right move. They have. You can never underestimate the impact that attacking the fans and splitting the fans has on a club like Celtic, because by our very nature there's a rebellious undercurrent. We're passionate, but we're reactive, right? Unlike the other mob across the city, we allow the club to die. We're not that club. Right, so we will react and the ways that happen, and then it filters through. It's not the first time this has happened in our history, far fetched. It filters through into everything else. So that's them. They've done all of that. So no matter what else they do from now on, they have caused this whole shitstorm. So no, that absolutely will never be done in anything other than eternal shame how they've run the club. Regards to Condolences, turn it round. As I keep saying, I've used this example a few times. I was at Livingston, as I'm sure many were watching and maybe on the panel, when we lost the third league game under Ange Postecoglou. And I think if we could have got a name, not me personally, but if his name wouldn't have been so difficult at that point, because when they come up with the good Ange Postecoglou song at that point, I think if it had fit it in as quick, as easily as Nancy get to fuck, it would have got sung that day, because the anger that day was maybe not quite as palpable as it was on Wednesday, but it wasn't far away. So I'm loath, and I know this is flying in the face of everybody, proof that we've been presented with, that he can turn it round. I'm not saying for a second he will turn this round, but I just think he's been very, very unfortunate with, and you could say arrogant, but deciding to come in and straight away play his style of play. But I don't know, Hoggy, I don't know. I think we win Sunday. I think we win on Sunday. I seen Dennis saying we win a couple of games and Zatham's a hero. I don't think we're that shallow, Dennis. I think we would need more than that, mate. We would need to see consistent levels of performance over a long period of time, because a lot of damage has been done to our faith in this system under this manager, and that's going to take a long bit of cut. And no 2 or 3 results, including beating that mob, are going to. They'll assist, obviously, and they're a must, but they're not going to be a long-term remedy. There's a lot more work to be done than that.
Aye, I think you're right. You mentioned about Postecoglou there as well, that Postecoglou, he was very outspoken about how his system was going to be, and you could see progression in that team. Yeah, we were still short of winning games. We obviously lost 3-6, but you could see something happen there. So before I get to my next point as well, I've just seen there's somebody sneaked in backstage that's coming in to say hello as well, and I think this is the first time that Randy and this person have actually shared a podcast screen as well. So the CSP community, welcome back. Our man from Geneva, it is the handsome bastard himself. Our Nicky boy. Nicky, my man, how you doing, son?
Bonjour, how are you?
Hey, can I get something?
Be French, you. Be French.
No, ça va bien? Okay, d'accord. How are you?
Right, can I just say first and foremost here, right? I've got to get this off my chest, right? Now, Andy's done the nice intro, right? And you know what I'm going to say here, right? The intro with our faces on it and that, right? Now, Nicholas is handsome. He's handsome fucking enough, right, in real life. And he looks even more handsome on the fucking hang. I look like some wee Jake ball that's just rolled out a fucking 48-hour fucking rave. Okay, what I mean? No, I'm not saying I'm fucking Mr. fucking George Clooney or whatever, but come on. Andy, you need to get back to work on that.
I did say when I commented on the pod that I would be changing.
It doesn't need to be jazzed up any more than it fucking is. You know what I mean?
I'll change the icons. Over the Christmas period, I'll change it, and I'll make sure everybody's happy with it. What I just want to say is, absolutely delighted to be sharing my first pod with Nicky. We have shared a bed before, but just not a pod.
Welcome, Nicky. Anyway,
no comment.
While we're talking there as well about changing things on the intro, Dennis, the wider banner, we've got the wider banner, mate, as well, so that'll be worked into the intro as well, buddy, as well. So just give us a wee bit of time to get that sorted, my man, and that will be hopefully in for next week, mate, as well. We'll get that work done. It just takes a wee bit of time, obviously, to fanny all that stuff together. But Nicky boy, you've missed a good bit of conversation the night as well, and I want to move on to the next bit, but I'm really interested in your take from afar as well. Obviously, you're based over in Geneva. You are very much, obviously, still involved in watching Celtic, the CSC Geneva, which we'll have a wee chat again about as well. So your overall thoughts then on Mr. Nancy and what we've been discussing before you come on, basically, is with the fans singing Nancy, Nancy, get to fuck. Is there a get back, a bounce back ability? Pardon me for kind of stealing words off of Soccer AM there, but is there a bounce back ability that can happen for him? And the guys are saying simply just win games. But do you think for many Celtic fans that it's went too far, that winning games is not going to get us, because in order for that formation to flourish, it's going to need months and months. Are we willing to batter through months and months of watching shite? What's your thoughts, mate?
In short, no. I don't think there is a recovery phase here. I think you'll be lucky to see him anytime, after, I don't know, maybe Paddy's Day or something like that. We simply don't have, we currently have the players to execute that system effectively. It's quite simple. The other thing that struck me when we were out on Sunday watching the game, we had our Christmas day out and watching the game, and 25 years ago, I played football in the USA, and we played against teams that had that system. And all we done was simply went wide, hit diagonal balls, and exposed them time after time after the game again. Football's not changed that much over the last 25 years. I think the players need clarity and conviction, not a tactical thesis. There's far too many, square pegs, looks kind of uncertain, and they don't look confident in certain points. I think the changes and rotation appears to be driven by an ideology rather than trying to build on what Martin done with momentum. The tactical changes look to me as if it drained the confidence rather than building on it. Also, the mood within the team, within the dressing room, hasn't been read particularly well. I think the Celtic players would respond to clear direction, not a sort of abstract theory. And unless January brings significant investment and quickly, I really believe the league is at risk. And if you're a key decision maker, if you're on the board, you must be unconvinced by this. You can say what you want about the board, but they're still the people in power, which could, I think, limit the amount how far the purse strings open to get the changes that we need. The other thing I would like to comment on is I went to the Roma game at Celtic Park last Thursday. This small minority narrative doesn't hold anymore. The demand for change is widespread. It's the majority, and it's justified given the investment that supporters make to Celtic. Yeah. So calling your ex is rarely wise. Calling several exes even less so, but I would make one exception. I would bring Martin back to steady the ship until the summer, and I would go all out to get Ange.
Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting.
Ange was my first choice when Brendan left. I absolutely wanted him. Yep.
There was many that did, mate. There was many that did, but it's one of the things. I know there was many that did. There was many saying Celtic need to stop going back to the well, or going back to that same well all the time as well, because it's going back for Rodgers, going back for O'Neill, going back for Postecoglou and stuff as well. But there's another thing, Paul. I want to come to you for this one, buddy. That when we were talking there, and Kevin made a really, really good point when he was giving his talking about the manager and the players.
Yeah.
So we're really a lot of the angst is being pointed towards Wilfred Nancy, and rightly so. There's got to be questions that's to be asked, but how much should actually be pointed at the fucking players? Because yes, they have been asked to go out and play in a foreign system to them, and a system that doesn't I suppose come naturally to a lot of people, as Nicky's saying, that's been kind of bred in UK and Europe. As many of your players, you've got the Japanese boys and stuff like that as well, but generally all these guys as well are brought up systems which is 4-4-2 when we were there, or 4-3-3. Changing this kind of 3 at the back and all the stuff there. How much should there actually be the vitriol be pointed at the players? And there's not one of them that doesn't come in for criticism. And our captain, who again you've heard me say in podcasts over the years as well, that Callum McGregor as well at one point as well, for me, I would have had him slightly ahead of Paul McStay as better player. I know there's stuff. No, I don't want to bring that argument back in. We'll talk about
an argument, mate. You're just wrong.
Yeah, I don't agree either. Yeah.
But really, how much should this be? Actually, the manager, you're doing your best, pal, as well. But these fucking clowns is getting paid a fortune as well. Aren't they helping you at all? How much should we be pointing at them?
Okay, that was a big thing on Wednesday, that the players were starting to get I wouldn't say individually directed any abuse, but that there was an element. A lot of people were shouting and getting involved in conversations and stuff and whatnot. That the players need to that the players also need to take part. And I tell you for why. Because if you watch, as soon as their first goal goes, and which by the way is a handball, shouldn't be a goal, the first goal. You watch Dundee United's first goal, the lead up to it, the guy controls it with his hand in the box, didn't get picked up with VAR, shouldn't be a goal. Second goal, I think, is probably offside as well. I'm not looking for excuses here, but you just need to go with facts. And the minute the ball hits the back of the net for the first goal, the attitude of the players is fucking stinking. You see them right away, just the heads down. You've got Callum getting at the usual in the middle of the park. There's no anybody looking at him. There wasn't even anybody looking at him. He's trying to get the G up. I mean, then the second goal goes in, and it was an even worse reaction. And that's the concern, Hoggy. So, yes, I do think it's a very valid point and something that's not been looked upon enough. As systems are systems, and this one is working with the personnel, but also a wee bit of heart and a wee bit of dig and a wee bit of fucking being good to scale a Gordon Stratton and being a good teammate. Because I didn't see a lot of that on Wednesday. I did in the first half when the going was good and everybody was playing well and it was all slick passing. It was all great. Second half, if you watch it, the minute the first goal goes in, there's a slow stroll back to the half-fight line. Go and get the fucking ball, run up, get the game going again. The only one person in that team that was fucking giving it something was Callum McGregor, and even he was struggling to get them motivated. So you're right, and I think it is time that this group of players remember that within that dressing room there's still a lot of fucking winners in there, a lot of serial winners in there, and get it fucking sorted out. You know what I mean? Because I'm not saying they'll sort it out with the formation that they're currently playing under, but this Hearts fan starting to talk some passion.
I know.
I was just about to come in and say that as
well. But you're not enough to get a banner done, I think. I mean, that's that's just fucking mental talk, man. You play the wee legs, then that's just madness.
Yeah, HMFC fan. You know, we are happy that we attract people from outside our normal community to enjoy the conversations that we have.
I know they turn up once every 40 fucking year or something.
But anyway, but no, fair enough, mate. I mean, you're off your tits, like, but fair enough. So the players, I do think, Hogan, I'm glad you brought that up because that kind of slipped my mind, and one thing I wanted to discuss tonight was we do really need to start looking at this group of players and saying, right, wait a minute, right, it's no happening, but we're not getting the ultimate effort. I can only see what I seen in front of my eyes on Wednesday, the second half, and it's a consistent theme. We've seen it a couple of times since the managers come in, but the Hearts game was the same. You jumbo cunt. The Hearts game was the same. where we played no great offence, mate, but some. We played that well for the first half hour of that game. Should have blew them away. And then if a team manages to stay with us and we didn't blow them away, and then they come at us as they did in the second half, it was clearly what had happened. Jim Goodwin had clearly told them, get tighter, get more aggressive, man for man, all these fucking football, very simple football philosophies, if you want to call them that. And we did never answer it at Hoggy. So the players do need to accept a fair amount of their responsibility as well.
Agree. Andy, on that, right, and again, this is where, I like to flip it about and saying, right, so absolutely the players should take a lot of responsibility for their non-performance or their non-being a good teammate and that stuff, right? But is it one of the kind of things that's like the chicken and the egg or the kind of vicious circle as well, that you are led by a person as well that you want to go out there and actually do and give your all for? If they've not bought into the fact of the manager's message or doing that, now, for me, again, as soon as you pull that Celtic jersey on as well, you give every single fucking bit that you've got in there as well, or you're coming off the park. That's a start.
Firstly, what I'll say is, Hoggy, the manager doesn't pay their wages, and they're playing for Celtic Football Club, no for the manager. The manager's there to guide them, getting them to play a certain way, but when it comes to pulling the tap on, you play for Celtic Football Club and the fans. And if you're not going to gain 100% commitment or have any way of playing in a way that's going to go against the manager because you don't really like him that much or don't like the way he plays, then you need to believe in Celtic Football Club, in my opinion, no matter who the manager is or no matter what way he wants you to play. If you're not willing to put the effort, and by the way, I was missing for the St Mirren game in the final. There was a total lack of effort, lack of commitment. Yeah. And nobody was willing to take responsibility to try and get us back into that game or get us into the game in any kind of way. I just want
Andy,
final for a wee second.
Confused, Andy. Do you think the players are confused? When I was at the Roma game, I felt the players looked completely confused and bamboozled.
So was fucking $60,000.
I can get that. That's wee intricate bits in a certain ways that he wants them to play. I'm talking about commitment and fight and will to win. That you don't need to be you don't need a tactician to tell you how to do that. It's a natural instinct. It's something that McGregor's got, it's something that Forrest's got, something that Schmeichel's got. People that have went and won things in the professional game. And in McGregor's case, multiple titles and trophies. And I mean, there was a time he'd never lost a final, you know, and look how many finals he'd played in. That doesn't simply just fall away. And you do question yourself, if it's any way to do with the manager, how they feel about the manager, then I simply don't want MD pulling a Celtic jersey on that isn't going to put the effort in. They've paid very handsomely. And that's the fact that the problems we've got now is, as a fan base, we put a lot of money in to keep Celtic going, and we don't get that back for the board when it comes to investment in the team. So that the fans are there to at least put a bit of effort in. That's the least. That's the when you talk about world class basics, it's in everywhere. That's the basics. That's the basics that we can't even get right. You know, is commitment and just the will to win, just to put up a bit of a fight. That will get you so far. Yeah. But we've not seen enough of that, in my opinion. And if they are doing it to spite the manager, then I don't want them at the club. Simple as that. Yeah. I don't care who the manager is.
I think you're right.
I do think, though, that I think just to qualify Nicky's point, I do have to agree there is a very much a degree of confusion, I think, as well, Nicky. I think you're right to bring that up. Because you do see that players looking about space where there's, I mean, the cup final I think was the biggest example. There was at times when there was nobody in any space, and other times when their players were crashed into each other. It's like, well, fuck, you're there. You know what I mean? It was like a game of 20 against 20 at the park at times. Where the games you used to play when you're young, about fucking 20 aside, or was crashed into each other and everything. There was elements of that. So there is that. I do think that is. Although again, first half on Wednesday. Again, clinging to some sort of hope. It looked as though everybody knew what they did. The passing was intricate, the movement was good, the speed of play was good. Again, no, but that confidence is just not been able to win battles, which is something that we've always been not too bad at doing, and that seems to have deserted it. That's the worry.
There's a big battle coming up as well shortly, and again, I'm pointing a few games away as well, and I think obviously there's some water to go over until we get there, mind you. But Kevin, I just want to come to you for this next one, because it's a point again that you'd brought up, and I'd kind of pulled you back in and saying, I want to get back to this in a wee bit, right? Andy spoke there about investment. We invest in, we don't really get the return on that, right? But what we've got now then is a club in turmoil, absolute turmoil. That is evident by the fact that this is now news places as well, the fact that this is going. So people are very much aware of what's there. So we're now getting into a situation where we're saying as well, we need to be ruthless with that squad. We need to look at that squad and be ruthless with it and say, you're either good enough or you're no fucking good enough. But if you're not good enough, you're out the door and you bring somebody else in. Do you think that we're going to have great difficulty in replenishing that squad in January, regardless who the manager is, if they're seeing the way that the club is the new as well, with the fans and obviously the running of the club is there? And then obviously the kind of unrest, the absolute unrest in the playing squad as well. Celtic are going to have a fucking hard shift to actually bring people in January. It's going to be of a quality to improve this team. Do you think?
Yes and no. Guys, European players who have no affiliation to Celtic in the Scottish game will be hopefully a wee bit blanker to some of what's going on. But that could really put them off. See the best of your homegrown players. If they want to come to Celtic, they'll come to Celtic. The biggest problem we've got or two problems are the board releasing funds. Secondly, they don't know what they're doing with the manager. So, I mean, are you going to give him? Not that we spend shed loads of cash anyway, but you're going to give him shed loads of cash in January when you're sitting there wondering, are we going to keep him or sack him? Because this was always a predicament that you were going to be in had you not brought him in now and you decided to run to either January or the end of the season with Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney. Are you going to turn around and give Martin O'Neill maybe 14 or 15 million pounds in the January, knowing that you're going to be bringing in a new manager maybe at the end or a new manager in the summer who might not like any of these players? So then you've got a new manager coming in then, and he's inheriting guys that he's not wanting as well. It's a vicious circle, and I don't know what the correct answer is, but no, we're not a great attraction because it's toxic. And see our dirty, filthy, stinking gutter press in this country. They're lapping it up, sticking a knife in and twisting it as much as they possibly can, what they've always done, and they've been waiting 20 years for this opportunity, and they're certainly not missing it either. So people will be aware of it. People will be aware of it. The big problem you've got as well is it's not just transfer fees, it's wages too for guys, you know, because Kaneki is a £5 million player, so he commands £5 million player wages. Bartlett Wisher is the exact same. Know what I mean? 2 of them are push, 2 of them are panic buys. Engels you could have had for about 3 million less, but fucking dance around the edges here until hours to go and get stung for more money than you should have. Exact same happened with Adam Ida, 6.5 million. Danced round about it for days on end. Got to the end and it was a panic buy and held to ransom again. Held to ransom 4 times on absolute shite that's cost us £30 million. And how the fuck do you get rid of them to free up the funds for other players? Know what I mean? That's a problem too.
I think you mentioned there, I think it's been Celtic have signed for Europe an awful lot over the years. And you're right that there's I suppose an expectation to think that somebody that's a £5 million fee commands £5 million wages. I think you'd be surprised if you look at the money that Bielik Visha and Taneki's on as well. You'll be low teens probably. I don't think they'll be on anywhere near the main men at our places. But you mentioned something there, Kevin, as well about the European players. Again, I don't think personally as well that MD needs to have an affiliation with Celtic or not to recognise the fact that that's a bit of a fucking bonfire that as well. I'm not going anywhere near it. But Nicky, you're obviously from from Europe that we are obviously not part of anymore. You're kind of European and where you're living just now. And you're very much still part of the Celtic community over there as well. But is there communication over there? Or is anybody commenting to you guys over there about Celtic and what kind of fucking nick we're in the new?
Not really. I spoke to a few people in work and they were unaware about Nancy for a start. Like they didn't know him and they didn't know we'd changed. So not really. I think if it's anything to do with Real Madrid or Manchester United, they'd be all over it. And the reality is, it's just the Scottish and Irish people that really care about, Celtic. But I want to touch on a point that Kevin said about, bringing new players in and, would be a resistance. I think, depending on how much we pay them, they will come regardless of what's going on, whatever bonfire is happening behind the scenes. I don't know if the board are going to give them enough money to really implement the players that need integrated into that system. So it's a strange situation to be in, Hoggy. I'm not going to lie. It's as weird as it is here as it is for you over there. And something needs to change. A striker needs to come in, a central midfielder needs to come in, a new goalkeeper needs to come in. A couple of defenders would be ideal, but let's see what happens in January.
Hoggy, can I just pick up on a point, because it just shows, it's only one comment, and I'm sure the lad didn't mean anything by it because he's got it completely wrong. And it touches on what Kev was saying about our scumbag, vermin, fucking Masonic-driven media that we've had to deal with our days. And it's this, for my ball, 2442, just saw the scenes at Tannadice with the scumbag with a blade. What the fuck? This is not Celtic, absolute disgrace. Again, mate, if you look a bit into that, the fact that the Daily Record run with that story tells you everything you need to know about the press in Scotland. It's clearly not a knife. It's a fucking guy with his hand out, and it's been proven now that he's standing in front of the police first and foremost, which would be absolute insanity in itself. It would be bang fucking out of order if it was a knife, and that's coming from somebody that fucking hates the board. But it's no. It's if there'll be a bit of digging, mate, on that one, and anybody else.
It's actually handcuffs. It's handcuffs for the police. Aye, the bit of metal coming down, you can see he's actually pointing.
I'm going to get me wrong, Andy. When I first seen it, I thought, oh no, danger, here we go, what the fuck.
Aye.
But it's absolutely not. It's not that, mate. Well, so again, a wee bit of digging, but that's how things happen. That's how things.
See, when you're saying that, it was posted in the Collective chat as well, and I'm looking at the video, and it's that way I'm kind of looking at the guy's horn, and think, what the fuck is that in his horn? But it's.
But the thing is, Hoggy, as Kev just pointed out quite timely there, our media to run with that and still be running with it on as far as I can see various platforms. Tells everything you need to know about how we have always been treated in this country, and that's
but there's another picture as well, Paul. I think you might have your hand. There's another picture as well, which I wouldn't be surprised if actually you see in the papers more as well, where there's a guy reaching out with like a 6 or fucking 8. That's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to have been in that corner of the stadium, because again, it's a good point to bring up, because as Nicky says, this small minority myth narrative that they're still trying to trot out as, I mean, the whole stadium was in uproar, and I know that corner, you probably weren't aware of that, where the cameras would be, but ironically enough, that's where all the ultra groups managed to, I'm not going to say how they got their tickets, but managed to get their tickets right next to where the board were. So I always loved being in the shed, but I would have loved to have been there on Wednesday night. I have to say.
I'll tell you something else, by the way, just before we move on, Hoggy, if you don't mind it. You know something, by the way? See us thinking Scottish mainstream media as well. They are not going to be worth a button come the end of May, because see, when we win this league at the end of May, it's going to be the sweetest title in the last 20 years, and their world is going to fucking crumble because of it, because they think this is fucking done. And see, when we turn the corner and we win it, they're going to be sicker than they've ever been in their life.
On you go, Kev.
See, the thing with it is, I think the mainstream media is becoming less and less of a thing nowadays as well. I think that, you know, and I don't want to go on about the fan media and what we are and stuff like that as well, but the fan media is going to be, and kind of podcasts and kind of people like that, is going to be the main places for people to get their actual proper fucking news. Mainstream media will fall away into something fucking very, very different. But Chris Fraser, please tell me your meaning what I was saying about that picture with a guy with like a 12-inch fucking blade. That did not appear on CBS and Paramount, did it? Again, God bless you all Americans from that place as well, mate, as well. But God bless you if you put that on the telly and think that's a Celtic fan done that.
It's America, and they believe in.
Yeah, right. But Nicky, I'm going to come back to yourself with this. I'm going to kind of move it alone a wee bit. I was watching, I seen a clip, and it was Willie Hockey on Frank McAvenny's podcast.
What's that?
And the bits that I seen it, and it was very, very telling, because this is a man that's been kind of talked up to be potentially your new chairman coming in. And he's talking about Celtic and what makes Celtic great is, you know, the fans and the passion and everything we bring in. And having that pointed inwards to the club rather than kind of outwards and towards the kind of team and stuff like that is a really, really bad thing. And he's saying the right things for me, because what he said, what somebody's needing there, the new, is mediation. You need that mediator to actually get in there and say, right, fucking sit down there, you sit down there, and let's sort this out. Is it that simple? Now, bear in mind as well the fact that you've got the Celtic collective, the Celtic fans collective, is actively trying to get that, but on their terms.
Yeah.
You've got Celtic that's not really gaining them much as well, because they've got their own terms as well, and it's like, nope, away you go, Sanny's away you go. Is that type of thing, and it might not be Willie Hockey I'm talking about there as well, but people had said Mark O'Neill potentially be that person as well that could be coming in the mediator stuff. Is that something that's staring us plainly in the face, to have a fucking somebody just coming in and saying, I had enough esteem around about this place as well for you to listen to me and you to listen to me. We need to all sit down. Is that what Celtic need to know, you think? And is there a way that Celtic can coexist together going forward the way it is? Now, again, I'm prefacing that as well, because I know what a lot of the answers are going to be. Fuck's sake, Hoggy, you're talking piss again. But you know what I like to kind of stoke the feelings of people. If we did have mediation, is there a way that mediation can lead to a forward path with everything in place now?
See Willie Hockey, right? I watched the whole thing, and I can't help but like Willie Hockey, but then I can't help but never forgive him for being called Lord. Or leads a bit like Super. Fucking hell.
It's like Celtic fan.
So I can never forgive him for he's accepting that shite for them doing in London. So that'll always be a blot on his copybook. But he spoke a lot of sense. He spoke a lot of sense on that last night, but I think even though he's probably too old for it now, but somebody like Brian Dempsey would be a much better option. Because if you go back and watch the episode they done with Brian Dempsey, Hoggy, I don't know if you've seen that one. Well worth a watch. A very impressive man, Brian Dempsey. Very heavily involved, and like myself, he has a similar opinion on Fergus. Everybody seems to want stands and that, or stands named after him and fucking statues. We're rewriting history a wee bit there, and go back and watch Brian Dempsey's take on that, and he was at the heart of all that. And two proper Celtic men, and so's Fergus, by the way. Let's not kid on. But Dempsey and Willie Hawkey are two dyed-in-the-wool Celtic men. So it might need to cut. It's coming from somewhere like that. It's probably our best option. Getting fucking adults in the room, and I mean with the board, by the way. But the only thing Hawkey said that annoyed me was when he mentioned the Green Brigade's tactics at the AGM. Let's again destroy that myth. That wasn't. There would have been Green Brigade members there, maybe, but that was not a Green Brigade-led initiative by any matter of means. So he spoke a lot of good stuff. I enjoyed that. It was a decent hour to watch. I would advise you to go back and watch the Brian Dempsey one, because Brian Dempsey's a proper man. He's a fucking proper Celtic man who was shafted a bit. I mean, he goes back pre. But remember also, Brian Dempsey had offered to help the old board and was shunned because he was probably too forward thinking in his ideas. Where Willie Hawkey was kind of involved with him, and so there's always that as well. So Dempsey all day long for me, but I think by his own words he's too old to get back involved. But somebody like that, to get the adults for the board back in the room, because these fucking charlatans that are just sitting there like spoiled brats, taking footage of the supporters. I mean, what sort of tactic is that? Apart from being a snide bastard, considering the toxicity and all that word I keep using right through the club. Read the fucking room, and there's no attempt by them to read the room. There's been no attempt by them. The very opposite. They're antagonising on a regular basis, and that needs to stop. I mean, my wish is for them all to get to fuck, but I'm realistic, and it's not going to happen. But it needs to be changed. As sort fans liaison. Why you've no got that at Celtic? I know we've got. In fact, I was talking to him Wednesday. Paul Taylor, why you've not got much more of these guys that were, and I can't say this would even happen, but guys that were, there are no guys in the Green Brigade that have been involved in it that are probably near enough their 60s now, that are now stepped back to the whole thing, obviously, in the young team of 2 now. There's your perfect opportunity to say, right, listen, let's look at getting a couple of folk that used to be involved in the group that and are very intelligent, fucking forward-thinking, decent human beings. Let's get them involved in the conversations with some members of the board. But I don't think there's appetite for the board for that to happen, Hoggy. And it kind of takes me to the point that I'm going to finish on this. And the thought of Celtic losing this league breaks my heart. But long term, it's probably the best thing that could happen for us. There you go.
Well, there's a simple. Again, I'm speaking to a guy I'm working with, who's a partner of the work, and I was talking to him the day, and he was saying, "We're drinking about Sunday Hog," and it was like, "Do you want to know what? See, and this is very much shorter term. You're saying as well. It's like the way that it's gone in the news. Well, I would take getting beaten Sunday if it meant as well there's changes are going to happen. And again, I hate it. Fucking breaks my heart to even say lose a game, never mind lose a league. But Nicky, I'm going to come back to you basically just on that kind of comment, because we've had our say over weeks and weeks on here as well about the Celtic Fans Collective and the campaign and what we're doing there versus the board and their stance, which is very pig-headed, very arrogant, very childish almost. So you've got a group as well that's quite militant in how they're approaching it. You've got a group there as well that's just like, we're the people, pardon me for using the terms as well, but it's probably actually hun behaviour, to be fair. But they're kind of batting it away and not doing that. So and I want for kind of, I'm not going to get it too much as well, but for what you do and stuff like that as well, which is maybe kind of more corporate level stuff as well. Is there a way, and just the message that I kind of gave to Paul there, is there a way that there can be some sort of mediation done there as well, which means that concessions need to be given on both sides? That, yeah, we've got these 7 questions, we've got these people who want to see out, but you're not going to fucking get that, let's be honest.
No.
They've got this thing as well, they want us all to fuck off, but they're not going to get that either. So, do you see that? Is it, if it comes to yourself, is there a way that you think that can happen, and can Celtic and the board coexist going forward?
It's a great question, Hoggy. It's not can, it should be happening. We need real leadership here. And real leadership, a part of that is mediation between different camps. I would love it if Wally Haughey come back. I don't think it will happen. But I think we need someone of that ilk to come in and steady the ship. I'm not convinced Martin O'Neill is that man either. Martin O'Neill is a footballer and a manager, and a bloody good one at that. Could he mediate, corporate politics? I'm not sure, because, the guy's never done that in his career, nor has he ever wanted to. So I would be cautious about asking Martin O'Neill to do anything like that, because at that stage in life and his career path, that's not his game. So if you're asking me, can we find a real leader with extraordinary experience to come in and start taking more control and mitigating some of the risks that are going on and mediating some fractions within the club? Absolutely. I've met a load of really talented people based in Scotland and in Ireland who I think would do an exceptional job. They're there, Hoggy. People are there. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people are, Celtic orientated. Do you need to be a Celtic man to do that? I don't necessarily think so. I think you need to be good at what you're doing, but it would make, even better if you were a Celtic fan. But these people exist, and real leadership, real experience has a massive impact. So the sooner we find these people, the better, in my opinion.
100%. Andy, I'm going to come to yourself. So what Nicky kind of mentioned there is real leadership and stuff as well, which they are absolutely. And again, you don't need to come from the biggest, baddest corporate world as well. You don't need to be dyed-in-the-wool Celtic either. Leaders, they're out there. They're in different facets. They're in different roles. And they would actually transition fucking very well into the football market. I'd guarantee you on that. But what I want to kind of just bring our attention to is obviously this week we got the announcement of their departing chairperson, their departing chairman, Mr. Peter Lawwell, our previous chief executive, who's given 20 odd years of his life to Celtic and earned a fucking shitload of money during that course as well, with his wee sidelines that he's probably getting off of that as well. It's the first of a few that the Celtic Fans Collective, and we'll get on to the collective stuff in a wee bit as well. What's your honest opinion then on not just the obviously his departure, because I think most of these are probably in the camp that we wanted to see him go anyway, but the comments that's then come out and been backed up by your chief executive, and it kind of goes again to the childish behaviour, I think, of some of these guys. And again, I don't know what Mr. Lawwell has been fucking put through and stuff like that. Yeah, has anybody called him a wanker? Probably. Has anybody called him a fucking dickhead? I'd imagine so. Has anybody called him a fucking get the fuck out of our club? I'm pretty sure. But do you think that's the type of abuse that he's referring to? Or do you think that actually he's alluding to much more? And your overall thoughts then on Mr. Lawwell's departure? Because he's no away yet, 31st of December. He's no away yet.
Aye, well, if I don't think he's getting any more abuse, if you want to call it that, than any other person on that board. When they sit out in the stand and every one of them's getting it, they're getting a big wing through their faces on banners and all that, so they're all getting the equals amount of abuse. And if that's the reason for him leaving, then maybe the rest of them should do the same, man. Listen, Lawwell should never have come back into this club. He'd left. Don Mackay came in, things were looking really good, and it went absolutely tits up when he left and Lawwell came back into the club. They just knew it was going to eventually happen, the turmoil. I'm glad he's away, and I'm no condoning if MD's going to be violent in any way or serious threats against MD, but you're part of the board and you're the chairman of a football club that's been rudderless, let's say, and nobody's willing to take the responsibility for anything that's went wrong apart from putting the blame onto other people, and you expect the fans just to sit back, continue to pay their money and not say anything. So I'm glad to see the back of him. If you want to hear the guy's no well anyway, so he shouldn't be in that position. He should be away enjoying his life and whatever. But take the other fuckwits with you, Mackay and Nicholson. And I'm telling you something, that Mackay would be out the door before Nicholson. The contempt he's got for the Celtic fans. No wonder, and I'm no condoning it, but no wonder people take drastic steps against people like that when they're being antagonised. They're in a top position at Celtic. They should be able to handle a wee bit of criticism, especially when they're sat where they're sat. And even if you look at Celtic Park, I'm pretty sure there's no GB members sitting right in front of them in the main stand. But I've seen plenty of pictures of people in the main stand turning around and pointing in their faces. That's not a GB, you know. So they're very quick to blame certain aspects of this fan base, which they should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves. I just want to touch on something. Just you were talking about Willie Hockey. I did see bits of that interview. I've saw quite a few interviews, and a very kind of down to earth guy. Came from Tory Glen, I believe, and done well for his selling business. There's just something doesn't sit right with me with Willie Hockey. To be in that, there's just something that's leaning more towards the Tory board members than he would towards us. And I know he's a Celtic fan. Somebody who I would love to see at Celtic, and I know that it isn't going to happen because he's now part of the Celtic Supporters Limited, I think it's called, which is all to do with trying to get the shares together. And it's David Lowe. David Lowe, very a financial guy, and I've seen many interviews on him. I think Tino done one where he Celtic exchanged a couple with him. I think Paul John done one as well with him as well. Very interesting guy. Somebody who I could listen to all night, and he's that absolute just get a season book like anybody else goes to. And he was part of obviously McCann's a major part in actually getting the ball rolling in that department. Somebody that's very experienced in dealing with, I suppose it's a different situation. Financially, we're in a different situation, so you're not going chasing, try to take out a club. I suppose he is in a wee way, try to get shares together in this situation. But overall, in that kind of position with a club, I think he'd be superb because he is a Celtic fan. He's a season ticket holder. He knows exactly where the fans are coming from, and it's just, I just don't know if he would be welcomed into that group of people. That's the only thing, but I think he would be a great shout for that position.
I fully agree with you, Andy. I fully agree with you as well. But I think that bringing somebody like him with his background, reputation, and his knowledge about things like that as well, I don't think that would be the type of people that the Celtic board would want to go up against. You know, but again, it's a fucking great shout though, because again, listen to some of his stuff as well, and as you say, for him being in, because he was part of the recent Celtic Trust AGM.
Yes.
He was in there as well with things going on as well.
So I think they've got an organisation now. I'm pretty sure it's, because I thought it was our podcast badge, but it's it's Celtic Supporters Limited or something it's called, which is obviously the company they've put together that's to gather all these kind of loose shares.
I'm sure he was involved with John Keane as well, who gets looked, kind of goes under the radar with it.
Exactly. He does.
He was one of the most pivotal members of that. That we Fergus got all the and again going. In fact, Brian Dempsey's. I'm sure Paul John's interviewing Brian Dempsey as we speak.
I'll need to watch that later on now.
And if it's half as good as thing about, but going back to Willie Hockey, I'm the same as you, Andy. Well, first of all, Lord does it for me. Anybody that's prepared to bow the knee to these, to be a subservient fucking cunt, which he clearly has been, loses all my respect straight away. I'm not caring who you are. And I'm seeing a couple of things coming up here that people, and you're right, it was the Gorbos he was for Andy. He was going to get, he mentioned about 100 times last night. Yeah. And then somebody else is saying that he doesn't allow his city, whatever the name is, city refrigeration or whatever, to be unionised. So again, that's not a good look either. So Willie Hockey can get to fuck for me, and I've made my mind up on that. He can vote. And Peter Lawwell, fuck Peter Lawwell. And if he's had threats and that, fuck him. Deserves them all. Because I'm just going to say it, and I'm speaking purely for myself here. I watched back Monday's show and I thought, even from my point of view, I was sailing a bit close to the window, a couple of comments, because I was a bit rough and I was very crabby. But I'm not going to have any sympathy for Peter Lawwell for the way that they need to remember the board have colluded with Police Scotland to ruin the lives of Celtic supporters for spurious at best allegations that have mostly come to nothing. The offensive behaviour bill that the members of the Green Brigade along with Jeanette Finlay eventually got fucked out. They used that to their full. They ruined young kids' lives, and I'm talking kids, young lads and lasses, predominantly young lads, but a few lasses as well, were literally told out their beds and put through horrific experiences that probably some have never recovered for yet.
Yeah.
We've had the recent debacle where again we've had the Linden Road stuff that we've spoke about. We've had the Falkirk game stuff, which nothing's come to anything. So I'm going to watch what I'm saying here, but if I'm going to phrase this properly, if there has been any discomfort afforded to the lifestyle or day-to-day existence of Peter Lawwell, my sympathy will be completely and utterly kept from that. I have zero, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I
think you're spot on there as well, because a lot of this stuff is pointed at what the Celtic fans have done to us. But you're right. Once you shine the light back on it and say, actually, hold on a wee second here. Here's what you've fucking done to us. And the examples that you're putting there as well, having just the memory of that as well, but then the stain as well if people are actually getting pulled in and getting potentially charged with.
Okay. I know people personally, right? People personally that have been through hell can that ultimately came to nothing, right?
Yeah,
but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They went through lost jobs, the families up in turmoil, can fucking probably some relationships non-recoverable. All of that was brought on by the Celtic board in collusion with Police Scotland. No, we didn't need to look for enemies with Police Scotland. Police Scotland, by their very nature, despise the Celtic support. And that's been evident for as long as I can remember all my life. I'm sure there's a few exceptions, but pretty much is the case. So we didn't need to for them to pick fights with us in the first place. And our board colluding with them is absolutely fucking disgusting. So again, when it comes to sympathy, and listen, by the way, I'm going to finish on this. Let's remember, Peter Lawwell, and this hasn't been controversial because it's a fact. Before Peter Lawwell left Celtic the first time, Peter Lawwell got his house torched and 3 cars torched at his house, right? Now, that was never mentioned, and correctly so, or it would have been, has been anything to do with the Celtic support.
Yep.
It kind of flew off the radar really fucking quickly, considering the magnitude of what had just happened. So you'll excuse me if my suspicions are that Peter Lawwell is a dodgy bastard that has probably got his fingers in more pies that have burnt his fingers, no pun intended, much more so than anything to do with Celtic.
Yeah.
So horrible to Peter Lawwell says fireball, that is too far. Anyway.
Never disappoint, man. Never disappoint.
Move on to that. I'm well in United. He's a bright contributor. With a great wee cart button forward. But no, it was his house that got done, Ryan. It was definitely his house in his garages. 3 cars. It kind of flew right under the radar. So I think Mr. Lawwell has maybe got more enemies than a few wee ultras that stand at the front of the stadium at Celtic Park. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
I think you're right. So on that note, Kevin, I'm going to come to you for your thoughts on this as well. So as you know, the Celtic Supporters Podcast is part of the Celtic Fan Collective. We are part of the discussions and other stuff that's going on there as well. So if anybody wants to go and follow them on Twitter, on Facebook, on Blue Sky and all that stuff as well, you can do. The statement as well that came out tonight, and I'll read this as well, so pardon me for going a wee bit kind of reading, I'm going to read off my phone. So a Celtic Fans Collective welcomes the departure of Peter Lawwell from Celtic Football Club. During his tenure, the club failed to progress in line with its resources, potential, and the clearly expressed expectations and ambitions of the support. Change at boardroom level continues to be both inevitable and necessary. The notion that fans have pursued a threatening campaign against Peter Lawwell and the board is baseless and part of a wider pattern of unsupported allegations being made against the fans. Today, a newspaper story has even alleged that a supporter brandished a knife at the board members during the match against Dundee United. Photographic evidence makes it very clear that this allegation is completely unfounded, and this stands as a ludicrous example of how eager some are to portray the campaign for change as a baying mob. The Celtic Fans Collective is committed to a peaceful and principled campaigning to hold our board to account. The real story is that our club is in disarray both on and off the park. The Celtic board is responsible for the team's decline and for the growing disconnect between the club's leadership and its supporters. The longer they remain in place, the more damage they will do to the club we all love. We call on all supporters to join us for a historic demonstration at 2 p.m. on Sunday the 21st of December, ahead of the match against Aberdeen, to demand the resignations of Michael Nicholson, Chris Mackay and Brian Wilson. We will also call on all fans to continue to hit the board in the pocket by supporting the Not Another Penny campaign on Sunday and in the run-up to Christmas. Celtic supporters have a long and storied history of organising collectively, often against overwhelming odds, to achieve great victories. This moment in our club's history calls on fans to unite once again and to send a crystal clear message to the current custodians. Your time is fucking up. Now, I added the fucking in there as well, but your time is up. One down, more to go. I don't know about anybody else as well, but I got a wee bit of goosebumps reading that there as well. I don't know if it was just the way that I read it.
Yeah, that was very well delivered, Paul, you have to say.
Thank you very much, Paul. But Kevin, so what we've got there now then is
it was delivered so good, you should be called Postman Pat, no Fireman Sam.
Very good, very good. But so it looks like
by the way.
It looks like a great statement. Great. Whoever it is that pens the stuff for the CFC or the Fans Collective, fantastic. But Kev, so it looks like the protests are then moving to, which I think the inevitable conclusion was, it's going to be folks standing outside Celtic Park main stand and demanding that as well. So is that something that you support as a Celtic supporter, as a member of the podcast, as somebody who's expressed their opinions against that? Or do you think that might be a step too far?
I don't think it's a step too far at all. I think that's being proactive and doing it the right way through the right channels. I think the statement is 100% banging the money. I fully endorse it and back it, just like I did with the walk for St Mary's the other week here, which I attended as well in the pushing rain, may I add. Must be the earliest I've ever been in a game in my puff before kick-off. But I went to that, fully supported it. I'll beat this as well on Sunday and fully support that as well. I think the statement's class, I think 100%. Peter Lawwell did need to go. The rest of them need to go as well. They've dragged us down for a position of strength. A position of strength that just be a wee bit more proactive work earlier in Windies. Could have staved a lot of this in the last two Windies, but we're bringing in money for guys, getting good money, your O'Reillys, your Kyogos, etc. Can reinvest in it sharp in Windies, on the right players, then takes you further into the Champions League. I know I'm going a wee bit, but then you're recouping that investment, whereas now it's going to take at least two Windies and the fucking gutsy halfway, three quarters of what we've got to get it back to what it was. And if you're not winning leagues, then you're not getting it coming back in at the other side for the Champions League money. So the vicious circle has turned wholeheartedly, so full circle. So the changes needed for top to bottom like that. And I think that's about the best statement I think that's come out in this full campaign for the beginning, as far as I'm concerned. Doing that before the game I think is great. Having banners up and so forth, I think great as well. But see, during that 90 minutes in the park, and especially if the team go behind, no sack the board. There's some Celtic songs out and back the team. I know they're not playing great and some of the guys aren't the best, but see, getting on their back, it's not going to help them. We need to sack the board, but back the team. Back the team. I'm not going to call people out and put people down, but sack the board, but back the fucking team. Back the team.
Yeah, I think that's, and again, Shug as well has been, Boys on Tour, Shug has been quite kind of vociferous in what he's saying there as well, that I think people need to remember that there is a game on Sunday. You know, we need to basically turn the voices and make sure we're giving that team back, which I think they will do. I'll certainly be there doing that as well. I think absolutely. But what you're going to get is you're a ball here, you're a midges ball here away for that turning, because if we then go behind or if something else happens there as well, then it's on that kind of shaky nail where it could slip and it could go into something else. But Nicky, again, I want to get your opinion again, because we've spoke about this over kind of time on the pods with regards to the Celtic Fans Collective and the movement that's there as well, which again you are part of as part of the CSP. That statement and the planned protest as well from somebody kind of your kind of background and what you do as well. Is that something that you think will have the effect that we hope that it does in giving them an opinion as well, but putting them in a position as well where they actually need to really start thinking about their own positions in this? Do you think a protest like that does have that desired impact within a boardroom?
I think it has an impact, Hoggy. Whether or not it would turn into something that people would consider their positions, I'm not sure. But the reality is they're in a position where they have to, there's a governance structure there and they have to control money. If money is impacted, then quite clearly there is something you need to do about that. It's not about problem pointing, it's about finding a solution. And these are the guys that are in position to go, okay, we need to do X, Y, and Z, whatever they were about to do. So yes, it will. There is no getting away from the fact that people power make a huge difference. And long may it continue. It's the Celtic fans who I think probably suffer most in this situation. And if they are galvanised to put up a protest, not only is their human right to do that, but I think it's for just cause. So if I was on the board and I could see our financial, situation or landscape change because of such protests, then quite clearly you have to do something about that. Now, what they do is on them. And I look forward to that. I think it's a healthy thing to be competitive. I think it's a healthy thing to protest in the right way. And I think it will only justify the next step, which I hope will be positive. The reality is we're in a bit of a mess right now. Let's not pull any punches here. And something has to be done. And if that is highlighted by, protests and, the Not Another Penny campaign that maybe wake the board up and for them to make a decision on that to take a different route, then so be it.
Yep.
I mean,
so, Nicky,
you become a board member of a prominent global football club.
Yep.
You have to anticipate this. And
yes.
I'm convinced that the right people will come in the end and change this for the better for everyone. This is temporary.
So, Nicky, I'm going to stop. Don't look at it for the things now as well. You're with me and Barry on Sunday night. You're full of the wine as you always get as well. Remember, you're a scheme boy at heart as well. You came from Motherwell. You played the same football team as us as well.
True.
Are you in that protest as well, waving your bottle of tonic at them? Get out, you bastards, get out.
I think, to be honest, I question the impact that would have, because, think about this logically. If you were saying, okay, you're going to, have that invective there, that vitriol and so on, and what you're more than entitled to do as a paying customer, by the way. The reality is when they go and close the door at board level, and what impacts mostly in any board, forget football for a second, any board will be concerned about either reputational damage or an impact on dividends or share prices and so on and so forth. So if this is a battle, if this is a competition, or if this is trying to push two fractioning groups together, I would go for the more, not so much intellectual, but I would go for the smarter move. I would go for the smart move and say, we're not happy with this. This is a collective. This is a community. This is a club. You have to do something that will make them really, sit up in their chair and act. threatening at football clubs, I can't condone. I'm sorry,
So,
I don't.
so what
condone
is that, Nicky? What, in your opinion, what is that more intellectual step that you would take rather than what they're doing now?
Well, just to qualify that, Andy, like I wouldn't say intellectual, just a smarter step. Like people go on about working harder, and I think working smarter is more effective. I think, the Not Another Penny campaign is certainly something that, if I was a board member, I would have to take heed of. There is no getting away from that. We have a huge multi-million-dollar, alliance with or partnership with Adidas, and probably multiple other suppliers.
Nicky, sorry, but I know you hear, but that's a big thing for me. That's where the pressure is really going to come from, is Adidas. They're much, much bigger than Celtic. And if Celtic's done as an elite club in their eyes, and if their figures don't start kind of coming up to their expectations, questions will be asked. Certainly, you've got to say that.
You're spot on, Andy. Honestly, you're spot on. And I think as a board member, you would have to look at that, really, really closely. And the reality is, money talks, and that would be the smarter move for me. It would. It really would. And I think that's that for me, rather than the threats at football grounds, and certainly, I can't condone anyone being, physically assaulted. I don't agree with that.
Come on.
Whilst I completely understand why people are frustrated, I can't condone that.
But Nicky,
Listen, can I just say, right? I think there needs to be both. I think Nicky's spot on. I can exactly where you're coming from, Nicky.
Yeah.
The smart approach is to go for the finance, go for the reputation, not the reputation of the club, the reputation of the board. If I'm reading you right, that nobody to manage this situation is thus costing the club, their shareholders and their sponsors a lot of money. That is ultimately what would change things. But I do also think there needs to also be a visual representation of that in the shape of a march towards the stadium. Now, I'm not saying on Sunday I want to see a storm in the doors and people being threatened and hurt. I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that both things working as a collective, ironically enough, do work. But the most important thing will always be in modern football. It was the first time round in '94, it was getting attendance below a certain amount and the bank will have to step in because we didn't have the season ticket holders. That's not the case anymore. The money's all banked for the season. So we didn't have that tool at our disposal. We do have the Not Another Penny campaign, boycotting games. I didn't see the point in that because, again, that goes back to just you've got your money and you're on the team. I do think though it is very important that this may just be the rebellious side of me, but I think a visual protests with thousands of people marching towards the stadium to let them see that for both angles here. Wait a minute here. We're getting hit in the pocket, but we're also getting visibly now big numbers marching against us. So I think that both of them can coexist.
Yeah,
I agree, Paul. And I think that if you're using that example, I think coexisting, I think everyone should have the right to protest in the right way. 100%. I mean, we wouldn't have changed many different rules and doctrines and a whole host of other things if we didn't protest. So that should always be your basic human right to do that.
Of course. Can I just say something, mate? I want you to start doing audiobooks because you've just got one of the voices. It's just you can listen
He's got one of the voices that I'm trying to provoke him. I'm going back, Nicky, we're not answering the intellectual stuff anymore. Are you going to be being Barry full of wine shouting at stuff? Come on.
Absolutely. Thanks very much. Look, as a fan...
How could you refuse that, Nicky?
I know. Okay, I don't know if you want to tie this up, this particular component, but I've got a wee thing that I maybe wanted to lighten the mood a little. Do you want to continue with this conversation, or?
No, I want to bring this one to an end, mate. I'll give you the floor. But what I think we really, really need to do, and I think Paul's spot on. There needs to be a multi-angled or a multi-directional approach to this. It can't be just all or nothing with one way of got it. You've got to attack it in different ways. but a visual representation of the support standing against the board, standing against the principal, or standing against what they're doing is absolutely fundamental to, I think, what the collective are trying to do. What I will say and precipice this, and please, if you are going there, you are going to be a ballhead away from getting fucking pinched, right? So don't think as well that you'll just be given the free rein to go and day and say whatever you want. Any sort of ways whether you're going to be stepping over the edge there as well. Do you think that Police Scotland or anybody there are just going to sit and let you deal with that stuff? So just please be aware that go there and protest peacefully. Don't do anything daft. Don't do anything daft as well, because the mainstream media and everything are just going to point that fucking camera right there and they'll say, see these guys, look at the state of that. So it needs to be peaceful. So the maximum impact that can come from this protest on Sunday is peaceful protest. We cannot give them another way to actually point another narrative at this thing at all. So if you are going, Kevin, I know you're saying you're going as well. Paul, you'll be there. I'll try and get our bus in a wee bit earlier as well to see if we can get there as well. But if anybody's going there, please do. Please do.
Tell you another thing,
well said, Boggy, by the way. Well said, mate.
Yes.
Kevin,
tell you another thing, by the way. See all this push with the Sun and the record in Glasgow Live and all of this about this bloody weapon as well that they gave him the other night there. Love him, loathe him, hate him, whatever you want. See, we Fergus would have tell him, get your apologies out and your damages sorted, or I'll have you in court on fucking Monday morning. That wee man, if one thing about him, he had a set of fucking balls that this mob.
But the thing is, Kev, this suits the board. That they've probably been in collusion with him to make sure this story gets out, because it looks terrible on that section of fans. So it turns out it's an absolute lie. Imagine a lie coming for Celtic as well. You know, imagine that.
So really, then when it comes down to Celtic fans, I mean, I've never bought a paper for the way back in the days when they tried to screw the Liverpool fans for Hillsborough, etc.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, when they were doing all their scummy shit there as well down there. You know something? As fans, we shouldn't be entertaining any of that at all. See, if you want clear, honest, unbiased journalism, just tune into sport media and you get the truth and you get the facts.
Yes, Kevin. Yes.
Bullshit.
Yes.
Instead of all these fucking multi-million-pound disgusting corporations who have got that agenda again you.
Lauren's asked there as well, are people still buying pies at half time? Lauren, I don't know. Me and Barry's never there past half time anyway, so it's James Later will tell you. We're never there at half time, so could have tell you, but what I will say is...
Can I say something on that? By the way, I had a pie. I had two pies actually at Celtic Park last Thursday at Roma game, and they were lovely. And I don't know
makes you scarf, but never mind.
I know,
but they were free.
I needed a pie. It was
hospitality, mate.
No. It was lovely, and I don't know the price. I think the price has changed a lot, but I do remember paying for a pie and going, "That's quite expensive."
Yeah. And it's
said it was for some staying in Switzerland, didn't it? And they're saying a pie's dear as well.
Coming for a man who sleeps on a bed of notes.
I genuinely don't. Just a normal guy that walks away. This notion that I don't know where he's getting it from.
Listen, we have been infiltrated by an intellectual ghost.
Fucking Tory bastard.
Definitely not a Tory, I can assure you. Definitely not a Tory. I'll make that point very clear. But I have to say that I was quite surprised how expensive a pie was, by the way.
Nicky, I'm going to kind of wind this up now, because we literally, that's 2 hours we've been on tonight, 2 hours already. So just a wee chat about the actual game on Sunday as well. But you
is it a game one?
There's a game one. I don't know why.
What happened to the quids?
A wee bit of something to lighten the mood a wee bit, Nicky, you were saying?
Aye, look, you everyone, not just the podcasters on this group, have been exceptional in promoting our Geneva Celtic Supporters Club, and I can see Kevin and Andrew are beautifully modelling the Celtic supporters.
It's brilliant material, and a great fit. They're really good fitting.
Thanks very much, mate. I can't take any credit. It's the Neils who are just brilliant for us, right?
It's fuck all to do with you. It's my body, mate. It's my body.
Exactly, and it's a lovely body you've got there. But if you don't mind, Hoggy, I'd like to announce our third shirt. And I think the last time I was on, I was talking about we were in development, and I literally have got this in the bag. It's literally out the wrapper.
You've been spending too much time at Celtic. A third kit.
A third kit, mate. A third kit. We're a proper Celtic supporters club, and every one of these shirts, literally every single one of them, if you buy through us, all profits go to the Kano Foundation, which is very close to my heart. And this is the third shirt. I think I mentioned.
Come on, Nicky, let's see it. Let's see it.
It was going to be white, and it's going to be a wee bit different, but this is it. This is our third shirt, and the front is the Kano Foundation with green collar, green sleeves, and then on the back you have a wee outline of the Geneva skyline as well. So I don't know how long we've got, Hoggy, but what I would like to do is, if in the next coming minutes, if somebody can come
Try
up
it on.
I need to put
Take
it on
that tap off and get that on.
Actually, do you know, Andy, this is Barry's. This is Barry. Barry ordered.
I don't believe that for a second. You've shrunk that or something like that. There's no way that's fitting Barry.
This is the
He's got to jump off the wardrobe to go into it.
That's got Weetabix tits hanging right out it. There's absolutely no chance that will fit him.
This is the what do you call it, the professional fit or the athlete's fit one. So this is Barry. Barry, if you're watching, mate, this is yours. In addition to that, we have a brand new scarf. Hopefully you can see that. Geneva Celtic supporter scarf. And we have a wee bonnet as well, which I think will be coming to a few years over here.
Excellent. Nice.
But if someone can come up with a good joke in the next few minutes about Christmas, a Christmas-related joke,
guys, yes, you have the time to we talk about Aberdeen game to get your best Christmas jokes in and keep them fucking clean, right? We don't want to get banned after you.
It's a children's charity, lads. So keep it clean. But if you can come up with a good Christmas joke between now and the end of the show, I'll send you a new jersey, the third kit of the Geneva Celtics.
Nicky, see that tap? It reminds me of that. If you remember the tap we had, and it had the Celtic cross on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
aye.
Yeah.
So you've basically just copied an old Celtic tap.
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't have much time, so I just said copy that one.
Is that no the Roma tap for this year? The one that Celtic should have had. That kind of
it's a belt tap.
I think Celtic missed
that's a nice tap. Nice tap.
I genuinely think Celtic missed a trick with a gold trim and just keeping it clean and a nice sponsor in the middle and a wee collar at the end. I know people were mad on collars or they like the round necks and whatever, but anyway, that's the third kit. But if you can come up with a good joke between now and end of the show, you get a shirt, and you can contact Hoggy or the show, and then we'll coordinate the.
So, Nicky,
fucking Hearts winning the league. There's a joke.
We have a game on Sunday. Aberdeen visit Celtic Park as well. So again, we'll not spend too much time in it as well, but just give me your thoughts overall, give me your team that you would want to see, and give me your score prediction for the game, please.
Oh.
Me?
All right, I'm looking at the jokes.
One of you need to pick a joke. Look, Hoggy, I'm going to be honest, I think this is really difficult to choose for. Turn about Celtic back and drop that. Okay.
That's a belter.
Aye.
Right. Okay. Good start. Keep on going with the jokes. A Christmas related joke wins you a new Geneva Celtic.
I do like Dennis's one as well, but Dennis is kind of part of the crew, so I'm not sure if Dennis get the top. It's a decent joke, to be fair.
Best one wins, isn't it? Best one wins.
Best one wins, and we all need to have consensus because
Paul McFarlane. I've got the best joke. That top fitting Barry.
No, that's a player fit. It's a player fit for Barry.
No bad take for 57.53. That's no bad take. Like that's decent. Yeah. And help with my predictions and when you're doing that because I'm look. I'm going to go for a. I've said this every time. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Celtic one. There you go.
3-1 Celtic one, right? Andy boy, what about yourself, mate?
I think we'll get beat.
What's Chubb's one? What's the punch rate of that, Chubb?
Yep, I was waiting.
Is it Christmassy though?
Oh,
that's good.
I love it.
Come on.
That's
good.
decent.
Fair play, mate.
I know I'm biased, but that's pretty fucking decent.
I would just post that the now.
All right. Aye.
There's another one there as well. That's a great joke.
Aye.
Anyway, Sunday,
Kevin.
2-1. I'll stick my neck away. 2-1 Celtic.
I'm
Big
going to say
He's going to get
3-0
on the winning
Celtic.
ways.
3-0 Celtic. I think the big Dennis said 3-0 Celtic. Nicky, what's your score prediction, brother?
I'm going to go 2-1. I'm always the optimist. 2-1, mate. Celtic.
2-1. 2-1 Celtic, right. James,
I'm
come on, you can do
sorry,
better than that.
I'm going to be biased here, right? But I can't see by the big Ian's joke there. I have to say.
Aye, Chubbs.
That's my vote. Aye.
Nicky, you're the man that's picking this here, brother. So
Uh,
I
geez.
like Dennis. Dennis had a decent one there as well. The Rebel Without a Clause.
That's a good one.
Come on.
Yeah. Well done,
A
Dennis.
magician with the magic. Ian, that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
That's a good one, actually. There was also another one about Santa. That one.
Yeah. Do you know about dyslexic divorce for his soul to Santa? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way over. Fun at his Santa's boys hitting off my granny's chin.
See that the kids won. That's it. We see that the kids won.
Yeah, the kids one only.
Well, I'm going to put my big face out. My big neighbour should get it for his one. There you go.
Who do you think, Paul?
Oh, I thought Big Chubb's a fucking belter. A magician with magic, Ian. He's fucking great.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you think?
I'd go with that, mate. Aye.
Right. Kev?
I would go with Big Chubbs as well, to be honest with you. I said that at the time.
Okay.
I think that the common consensus is Big Chubb takes it as well, but I've got to say our case. I like a wee bit of a devil in there as well, but the missus asked if she had much to open on Christmas Day. I replied, yes, darling, you've 2 eggs to open your legs to start.
Oh, yeah.
Lads.
Like
It's for a children's right. Jesus Christ. Right. I'm going to name it.
Kevin,
Chubb.
holy shit.
No, Chubb. Well done, mate. That was a good joke.
Again.
Chubb, if you can get in contact with the
I'll sort that
Chubb,
out.
just speak to Paul.
and then
Speak
we'll
to Paul,
sort it
get
out.
your-
Just need your address and I'll post you one out. We need your size,
I'll
a
get
shirt,
all that sorted.
and we'll get
Hold
it
on to
sorted.
this thing,
So,
get him out hard, but it was a good fucking joke. Come on.
good
Yeah,
joke,
well done, Chubb.
Well done, mate.
Chubb.
All the best, mate.
It was
I'm going to do 2 minutes.
both a joke and very intellectual weight as well. So yes,
That was
very
a good
well
one,
done.
man. Yeah, I liked it.
Gentlemen,
Well done,
it has
Chubb.
been an absolute pleasure again. I think we're
Just
close to getting
magic, yeah.
up to our longest pods. Actually, no, that night when all the nonsense was going on.
Aye.
But 2 hours and 8 minutes. We'll call it for 2 minutes, 2
Yeah.
hours and 10 minutes. Anybody got anything to add before we bid farewell to our community?
I would
Paul,
just-
your answer?
I'm going to excuse because I'm getting pressured for the missus to go pick up my
course.
daughter. I've wrote a couple of things down here. My big mate John Coletti he's in Egypt on holiday. Or the best John, but more importantly, there's the boys group are doing a winter collection on Sunday as well for jackets and blah 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 whatever else anybody can contribute to that. That's happening on Sunday. I'm not sure the details. I'm sure if you look at, and it's my birthday tomorrow, but that's not the big deal here. But that's happening on Sunday, troops. So if there's anybody got any jackets, long johns, whatever, then bring them along and there'll be pickup points. I'm sure, not entirely sure where they are, but I'm sure if you look about, you'll find that you'll see the guys will be. I would imagine they'll be definitely involved in the protest.
But Baz could sort this situation. Baz could sort this situation out quite easily. Two or three jackets, and that's about 30 or 40 people covered. So.
Listen, lads, I'm going to have to go because I'm going to pick up my middle child.
Happy birthday, mate. Happy birthday. Good to see you.
These boys all the time anyway, Nick. It's always lovely to see you, big man.
Really nice to see you as well, Paul.
Take care to the crew.
See you later, brother.
Great numbers tonight. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on Monday. Hail, hail.
Cheers, mate.
Good luck.
MD else anything you want to add in before we bid farewell and good evening?
I just want to say it's been a pleasure. Obviously, first time on with Nicky, really enjoyed. I think he's just one of the guys you want to listen to. He's obviously a very good talker. It's just been an absolute pleasure to actually be on a podcast with you. So thanks very much for taking the time to jump on and cracking. I know you do a lot of work with a lot of different things, and I know the effort you've put into getting the top sorted out and all that. You get into real fine detail, and you've certainly got a great manufacturer for these tops. They're real quality. I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here wearing it, that they're one of the best kind of taps I've had when it comes to fit and feel, and they don't go out of shape and stuff like that. So I know you've put a lot of work into it, and you've done a fantastic job with everything you've done with the whole scarf start. So it's been a pleasure on the podcast with you, and all the best with everything that happens.
Yes,
Thank you
bless
very
you.
much.
Kevin, Nicky, any yous want to add in, or would it be good to say goodbye?
I am just want to say that I've thoroughly enjoyed the night. It's been a great pod. It's been great to see all the viewers' comments. We're rebuilding, as everybody knows. So thanks for the continued support. If you can, like, subscribe. Big thanks to Des at Atalantes as usual. And even bigger thanks to Dennis as well at Pro Sport Media for everything he's doing for the pod as well. These are guys that behind the scenes that help us along the way and make things with competitions and sponsorship, etc. So they might not be on screen, but we need them to help us make it work. Nicky, brilliant seeing you, mate. I will see you on Sunday. Emirates, Foggy, Baz.
Absolutely.
Catch you all. And
Nicky.
Randy, Hunt's tickets sorted, mate. We'll get that sorted on the day. That's there
Nicky
for you
boy.
and all, mate.
Anything to say before we go?
Yeah, just a huge thanks to you, all of you. The Celtic Supporters Podcast has been brilliant for us with the amount of people that like us and follow us on the Geneva Celtic Supporters Clubs. So a big thanks to the crowd and the audience that watch this and contribute. We would be nothing as a Celtic Supporters Podcast without you. And just a very Merry Christmas. I hope you and your respective families have a healthy and happy festive period, and I look forward to 2026, and hail.
Hail indeed. Nicky, maybe we've still got to organise a wee chat between me or the podcast and you and another member of the Geneva CSC, so we'll get a pre-record done for that. There's some ideas that I've got in my head as well, but we as a collective in the podcast as well will be looking to kind of up the content as well. So you'll still get your lives, you'll still get your Monday, Friday as well, but we're looking to do some more stuff, which we pre-recorded and give you kind of during the week and stuff like that as well. But as for tonight, guys, again, love talking to you. Nearly 2.25 hours as well. Thank you very much, every single one of you in the community out there, for your continued support, for your continued contribution to our podcast. Your comments drive us the way we need to go as well. So basically, you drive this show. Please keep that coming. As I said at the start of the show, after tonight, we will have hit that benchmark in order for our memberships to open back up. So we'll be having a chat internally to see what that membership bracket's going to be. I think Dennis said he's maybe got some ideas for that as well. So we're looking for our sponsors to come in and help us with stuff to give back to our collective and our community. That will include giveaways. That will include probably quarterly donations to charities that we'll put out there and allow the community to have their say on where that goes. We will continue to support the Geneva CSC, who support the Kano Foundation very, very well. I'm sure there'll be some more news that's going to come out in regards to the Kano and stuff and how we can support them in the future. But as for that, our Friday night shift is over. Gentlemen, Andy, thank you very much for your time tonight, buddy. Kevin, thank you very much for your time tonight. Nicky boy, thank you very much for taking the time to come and join us. And Paul, who's away already, thank you very much to our Paul. Guys, as always, we'll bid you a good night. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Stay Celtic. Your CSP is over and out.